Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. I've been reading The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard, and it is so profound. You could read this book over and over and over and over and just begin to touch the meaning of it. In chapter 4, Neville Goddard talks about desire. He says, the changes which take place in your life as a result of your changed concept of yourself always appear to the unenlightened to be the result not of a change of your consciousness, but of chance, outside cause, or coincidence. But he says, the only fate governing your life is the fate determined by your own concepts, your own assumptions. For an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. The ideal you seek and hope to attain will not manifest itself, will not be realized by you until you have imagined that you are already that ideal. There is no escape for you except by a radical psychological transformation of yourself, except by your assumption of the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Therefore, make results or accomplishments the crucial test of your ability to use your imagination. Your imagination can set you free. It can take you into wondrous promises, places of true happiness, health, wealth, living in time and money freedom. When you assume that that's possible, when you practice in your mind what it would be, what it would look like, and practice feeling the emotion of that, you change your reality. Your emotions are not hardwired into you. When an unpleasant event happens, you might have the feeling that automatically you have to be upset. Your, your sadness, your upset is automatic. Well, it's not really automatic. It's programmed in your brain, in your whole body by the way you've practiced, the stories that you've heard, the stories that you've told yourself, the things that you've practiced. If you got triggered to be angry and then a situation happens, it doesn't make you angry. You choose in that millisecond to allow anger to be your emotional response because of your past emotions, your past thinking, your past reactions, the past. If this happens, then that is the reaction. It's almost like programming a computer. If that, this, then that. But it doesn't have to be. You can notice other people don't get angry. It's like water off a duck's back. They just, that's happening to that person. Oh, well, it's not that they're not empathetic, but they haven't bought into that. If this happens, I have to get upset. So that means you can train your mind, you can train your body, you can practice not getting attached to an outcome. If you know you really want something, you can practice feeling what it would be like, being happy, knowing what health feels like. But you don't have to get attached to the outcome. In fact, when you're not attached to the outcome, the universe usually delivers it faster without effort and usually even better than what you imagined. If you practice thinking about what you really want and then bringing in the feeling as if you're already there, and you do that for a few minutes every day, you can train your body. You imagine what it would be like in your subconscious mind. 95% of you that you're not even aware of it just runs the show. It starts to look for evidence to prove that you're happy, that you're healthy, that you're wealthy, that you're loved and respected. Your subconscious works in the background with a target that you've programmed. So it goes looking for what makes you feel happy, healthy, what what you want to see show up in your life. It filters out the things that don't matter, the things that don't match that. If you think about your favorite place, maybe it's your grandmother's house, maybe it's a beach in Hawaii, maybe it's a cottage in the forest, maybe it's hiking in the mountains, maybe it's being with your loved ones or a particular person, and the place doesn't matter, but the feeling of being there is what calms you, what makes you feel happy. When you connect to those pictures, those feelings, that allows a wave of chemicals to flow through your body that signals you're safe, you're happy, you're healthy, everything's working out. What a wonderful life this is. When you imagine that, when you expect that, when you believe that, when you live that, that's what your experience is. That's what your brain shows you. The reticular activating system in your brain will filter out what doesn't match that more often than not. So if you expect today to be hard, challenging, difficult, you're setting yourself up for that. Everything depends on your attitude toward yourself. If it's true that you believe you're a wonderful creator, you're healthy, you're happy, life is happening for you, like today can be easy flowing, and no matter what comes along, rather than being triggered into the automatic reaction of anger or disappointment or jealousy, you're training your central nervous system. It's like training a wild tiger. It takes some effort at the beginning, but after a while, you can be calm in a stressful situation where everyone around you might be losing it. You're the one who has the ability to bring calmness to the situation, to find solutions, to think about how you want it to be. And Neville Goddard says, that which you will not affirm as true of yourself can never be realized by you. For that attitude alone is the necessary condition by which you realize your goal. You must affirm that it is true. So oftentimes people talk about what is that they don't want, what is that is hurting them, what the circumstance that they don't want to be in, and practicing thinking about that, talking about that, recognizing that continues that experience. It builds up it manifests into physical reality. It becomes true. So instead of talking about what you don't want, flip the switch and write about, think about, talk about, feel about what you do want. Bring yourself into alignment with thinking, feeling, and acting. What do you prefer? What do you desire? Calm, confidence, love, peace? What do those emotions feel like in your body? Where can you feel it in your body? Do you feel your heart swelling? Do you feel a warmness flooding over you? Can you put a smile on your face? What is the best thing that you can call to mind? Something that you've already experienced or something that you truly desire? All transformation is based upon suggestion, Neville Goddard says, and this can work only where you lay yourself completely open to an influence. You must abandon yourself to your ideal as a woman abandons herself to love. For complete abandonment of the old version of you, abandonment of self to it is the way to union with your ideal. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled until your assumption has all the sensory vividness of reality. You must imagine that you are already experiencing what you desire. You must assume the feeling of the fulfillment of your desire until you are possessed by it. And this feeling crowds all other ideas out of your consciousness. What is it that you desire? Neville Goddard says, the man who is not prepared for the conscious plunge into the assumption of the wish fulfilled in the faith that it is the only way to the realization of his dream is not yet ready to live consciously by the law of assumption. Although there is no doubt that he does live by the law of assumption unconsciously. So for the person who assumes that the day is going to be difficult, things are going to be hard, problems are going to arise, and there's going to be heavy traffic, that becomes his reality. That's what he assumes, that's what he gets, that's what he's practiced. The subconscious mind must put him in those situations, otherwise, he would think he's crazy. So, if you practice thinking, what do you really want? We want traffic to be light and flowing and arriving at the destination, always at the right place at the right time for the right reason. You can affirm what you want, and as you think about what that feels like, because you have to have feeling in that it's done. It is true. You believe it. You're washing that feeling into every cell of your being so that the subconscious receives the message. Your subconscious experiences life through emotion, energy in motion. If you just say 100 times a day, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm happy, that's not going to be your experience. You program that into your subconscious through feeling. The subconscious speaks the language of emotion. When you know what happiness is, and you feel that in every cell of your being, what does it feel like when you're happy? Is there a warm glow? Do you feel like hugging everybody around you? Do you have the biggest grin on your face? Do you want to skip down the street? Do you want everybody to experience happiness? When you feel that, your subconscious mind goes looking for experiences to match that. Subconscious speaks the language of emotion, energy in motion. And you can create an emotional attachment to what you truly desire, because the reason you want something is because you believe in having it. You'll feel better, you'll be happier, you'll be healthier, you'll be in a better space. Well, how life is created is you feel that better feeling, and your subconscious mind looks for people, circumstances, resources, situations to match. Neville Goddard says, "For you who accept this principle and are ready to live by consciously assuming that your wish is already fulfilled, the adventure of life begins. To reach a higher level of being, you must assume a higher concept of yourself. If you will not imagine yourself as other than what you are, then you remain as you are. If you do not believe that you are the person you want to be, then you remain the way you are, the way you have been, the way you've been practicing, the you who is talking about current and past results. What would you have changed in your life? Through the faithful, systematic cultivation of the feeling of the wish fulfilled, desire becomes the promise of its own fulfillment. The assumption of the feeling of the wish fulfilled makes the future dream a present fact." Isn't that wonderful? Doesn't that sound easy? Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled makes the future dream a present fact. Let's take a deep breath in and have that wave of happiness flow to and through you. Take a deep breath in and bring in love and joy, peace, calmness, happiness. Allow that to touch every cell of your being, every atom, every molecule. Every cell of your being is jumping for joy. You're getting emotionally attached to the feeling of joyful happiness. That wave of energy is flowing to and through you, allowing you to feel light, happy, well-being. It's pouring into you, it's flooding your being. It's allowing you to feel at ease and knowing that today is going to flow. When you're in a happy, easy, flowing feeling that everything is going your way, ideas come to you. You can create a new reality. Your subconscious mind will start looking for what it is that you really want, what makes you happy, what allows you to have the faith that you live in a wonderful universe. Everything is working out for your higher good. Bring that onto the screen of your mind. You can practice sitting in the knowing that it's yours. It's here now. Everything is created twice. First in your imagination, and then in your physical experience. If you assume you have a wonderful business, you will notice how in your imagination, your attention is focused on incident after incident relating to that assumption. Friends congratulate you, tell you how lucky you are. You simply become aware of more life, more love, more happiness, more things to be grateful for, more experiences that feel good. When you persist in this assumption, the result will actually, you will experience that. Neville Goddard says, persistence in this assumption will result in actually experiencing, in fact, that which you assumed. Assume that life is happy, that you are healthy, that your body knows how to heal, that money is flowing to you, that you're doing what you want to be doing, and you are helping society. You are creating so much value, so much worth, so much love in this world. The universe can't help but reward you. Neville Goddard says, creation is finished. Creativeness is only a deeper receptiveness for the entire contents of all time and all space, while experienced in a time sequence, actually coexist in an infinite and eternal now. In other words, all that you ever have been or will be, in fact, all that mankind ever was or ever will be, exists now. This is what is meant by creation, and the statement that creation is finished means that nothing is ever to be created, it is only to be manifested. What is called creativeness is only becoming aware of what already is. You simply become aware of increasing portions of that which already exists. The fact that you can never be anything that you are not already, or experience anything not already existing, explains the experience of having an acute feeling of having heard before what is being said, or having met before the person being met for the first time, or having seen before a place or thing being seen for the first time. Do you ever have that experience of déjà vu? The whole creation, the whole of creation exists in you, and it is your destiny to become increasingly aware of its infinite wonders and to experience ever greater and grander portions of it. You might take the time to write down what it is that you desire. What does it feel like? Practice thinking, feeling, being in your mind, being there in your mind and in your heart. And then the energy of emotion connects to that, brings that imaginary thought and feeling into physical reality, into being. Practice being who and what you want. And then it shows up in your reality. The first stage is in your conscious mind. You program it through emotion into your subconscious. You think, feel, and act like the person who has whatever it is you desire. And then you experience it in reality. Other people will see it after you become it. Think, feel, and act. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Act from the goal already accomplished and watch how your world changes. Enjoy your day. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you back here Monday morning at 7. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Create a wonderful day.